Dr. Jeremy Weiss here, founder of InspiredInsider.com, where I talk with inspirational entrepreneurs and leaders like the founders of P90X, Baby Einstein, Atari, and many more, and how they overcome big challenges in life and business. This is part of the Skubana e-commerce mastery series, where top sellers and experts teach you what really works to boost your e-commerce business. Skubana is a software platform to manage your entire e-commerce operation. Today, we have Eric Bandholz, co-founder of Beardbrand. They sell products for the bearded lifestyle, such as beard oils, beard wash, beard softener, beard combs, and much more. They've built the company to over $120,000 per month in revenue and were featured on the hit series Shark Tank. And Eric even had the pleasure of having Lori touch his beard on the show. Eric, thanks for joining me.
What is going on, Jeremy? And thank you for such a warm and friendly introduction. Happy to be on the show.
Yeah, definitely love the beard. What does your wife think about the beard? Like,
she
the
digs
evolution
it,
of the beard.
Like, there's not a lot of many guys out there who rock beards without the permission of their wives. So,
was she timid? Was she skeptical at first, or was she always on board?
Well, she always preferred me with a beard, and my length in general was about the length of your beard. So that's what I normally had.
Yeah.
And then I decided to grow it out and told her I was going to grow it for like 6 months or a year. And she's like, I don't know about that. And then I'd get to the 6-month mark, and she'd be okay with me at that length. And I'm like, I'm going to go for the 12 months. She's like, I don't know about that. And then I got to the 12-month, and I was like, I'm thinking about trimming it back. And she's like, I don't know about that. So, I think my wife tends to prefer, whatever look I'm rocking. Yeah. Although currently, I think she wants me to cut my head hair. So
okay, let's go for it. Yeah. So what are your top 2 favorite beards of all time?
Well, not trying to sound like a narcissist, but I love my beard, not because of the way it looks, but just because it's my own. Right. And it's something that's really ingrained with who I am. And then, of course, my dad has had a beard. He doesn't currently have a beard, but when he has a beard, it's something that I look up to. So
I'm in Chicago, Chicago Cubs fan, and so Arrieta obviously rocks the beard, and so preparing for this, I wanted to hear about. I was really fascinated with the first beard competition. Yeah. How did you prepare for this, and tell me about what it was like?
Dude, beard competitions are something else. Like they're a ton of fun if you've never been to one before. It's almost like going to like a Halloween costume year round, but a Halloween costume for like bearded folks. Right. And when I was growing my beard, I really got into it. I got into like how to take care of your beard, how to grow quickly, and like the culture and the lifestyle behind guys who really love their beards. And beard competitions are part of that. At the time, there's a show going on called Whisker Wars. Mm-hmm. So that's really how I got into it, or wanting to go to the competition was through that show. And then there's one in Portland, Oregon, which at the time I lived in Spokane, Washington. It was only a few-hour drive. So got a couple of our buddies, and we drove out there. And I had no expectations of what it was going to be or what it was going to be like. And then I got there, and I just kind of fell in love with the people and the atmosphere and just the lifestyle. And it was just a ton of fun.
Do you go there to actually compete? Or
I competed.
So what do you compete in? How do they... Tell me about it. It
was the 2012 West Coast Beard and Mustache Championships. Okay. And I competed in the full natural beard under a foot. So it's funny to think about.
So how do they rate that? How do they pick the winner?
So I've actually ended up judging a few competitions as well. Oh. And typically it's going to be on like the color and the mass, the density, the length, the shape of the mustache, just like the texture. I mean... every competition kind of grades it slightly differently, but it's just however cool.
So you say natural beard is like, what's an unnatural beard? Like like someone taking steroids or something?
No, so that would be a styled beard.
Oh, so people would like style it, and that's a separate competition.
Right. Well, it's the same competition, just different categories.
Different categories. Gotcha. Okay. Because I noticed, like in one of the videos, you said hormones really affect the growth and the thickness. So I don't know. For all I know, people are doing steroids to win the beard competition. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, there's no testing of blood work, so they're a lot less informed.
Don't want to give anyone ideas out there.
Well, you're not really winning any money too, so, or getting much fame and glory.
Yeah, what's the prize? What do you?
Usually, it's bragging rights and a pretty cool trophy.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
And the prize is really hanging out with a bunch of people and having a good time for the night. So.
And you realized something though about the people at the first beard competition.
Yeah, for me, when I grew my beard out, I was and I am. I'm a business professional. I'm a graphic designer, financial advisor, and no one in that world had facial hair. Like I was the only guy, and maybe some people had facial hair where it was more of your length, but no one had like a big beard.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't think that should be limited to, just the bikers and the hippies and the outdoorsmen and the lumberjacks. Like
right.
I thought we should be able to grow big beards too if we wanted to.
Right.
And it was at that competition that I realized that there were other guys out there like me. There were other guys who wanted to wear a bigger beard and also had a wife and kid and they were involved in their community and, they had jobs and were just normal guys,
right. Yeah.
So it kind of inspired me to try to unite the community and show the other guys out there that, hey, you can rock a beard if you want to, and here's how.
Yeah. So discovering what you call the Urban Beardsman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had to there's no term for guys like me, and just to make it easy, I never considered myself like a hipster, although a lot of people describe me as a hipster, but I've always been like a business guy and an entrepreneur first. Like that's who I really identify with. But I wanted something that was more encompassing, that wasn't really defined on like coffee and music and irony. Like it's more about like professionalism and style and drive and passion and independence and freedom. Like
right.
So we had to create a new term to describe that, and for us that was Urban Beardsman.
So you created the term Urban Beardsman.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. I like that.
You like it?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I want you to talk about the Urban Beardsman, because we talked right before, which I thought was interesting. You're like, Jeremy, it's not about the products, right? So what's it about?
Yeah, I mean, it's about helping men feel confident with who they are or who they want to be,
right,
and giving them the tools. So a lot of maybe, we've had a lot of competition pop up, and there's always been this like hyper masculinity, like you're not a real man unless you have a beard, or some inappropriate things that I probably shouldn't say on your show that are derogatory to women.
Really?
Like that's not us. Like we want to say like you're free to grow a beard and you're free to shave a beard. And it doesn't define your masculinity. It doesn't define who you are as a man. But who you want to be internally, like we want to give you those tools to be that and not feel pressure to be someone who you're not.
Yeah.
And, one of those tools that we provide are beard grooming products. They help you look good in a professional environment. But we also provide a lot more.
What else do you, give me some examples of what else? Because I definitely will dig into the products and everything like that. But tell me what else.
Yeah, I mean, so like Beardbrand started off as a content website, as a way for guys to be able to find information about taking care of their beard. So we've got urbanbeardsman.com, which we provide daily content on how to dress yourself, how to have style, how to rock it with your beard, how to find clothes, how to look great, how to feel confident. And then we've got, of course, our YouTube channels, which provide a lot of help and assistance. And then we've got our Tumblr page, which is like providing inspiration, right? So it can provide guidance on, how you want to get, what point you want to get to in your life and where you want to go, and really have that guidance and that drive rather than just letting life come to you. But you take that control and you take that action. So, I mean, those to me are as much of what we do as a company as selling the products. Yeah. And the products just kind of fund, for us, the products really kind of fund that other stuff.
Yeah. And I do notice, I mean, the information and content you put out is pretty enormous. And I want you to talk, I was going to save this for later, but I definitely want you to talk about the social media presence and how that's grown and what you've done to grow it. Maybe start with YouTube. You know, you have some really cool how-to videos. You guys have over 70,000 subscribers on YouTube. I think I was watching one, All Men Should Grow a Year, the other day, and you have like over 100,000 views on that. So tell me about YouTube, how you grew that, and you know what you plan to do in the future for people who like, I want to grow a following and on YouTube and provide great content.
Well, so the first thing is like growing a YouTube channel is a lot of friggin' hard work. It's not
tell me about that hard work early on today, because people see that and go, oh, he just probably blew up overnight. He's got 70,000, but it wasn't always that easy.
Oh no, man, dude! Like, let me tell you, like, nothing in my life has been easy, or at least to me, it doesn't seem like it's been easy. Right. But it's been fun. So it's I wouldn't say it's been difficult because I enjoy doing it. But YouTube, man, that first year, I think I had like 300 subscribers after like 12 months. And
what were you doing in that first year?
Pardon me?
What were you doing in the first year as far as content goes?
So my first year, the content really just sucked. Like, frankly, it was I had like no vision, no guidance, no strategy with YouTube. So I was just going up there, and maybe 1 month I'd create a video, and I know one video is just of me. It's like 30 seconds, and I just go like this. like that's all the video. And I thought, I'm like, oh my God, this is going to go viral. There's going to be like billions. And I'm like, what? Looking back on it, I'm like, what the hell? What was I thinking? Like, this is idiot. But I did have one video that did really well. Like it was a how-to beard grooming video, and that's when I kind of realized, like, this is what the people on YouTube want. These are the videos I need to create. So it was really like being in tune with what kind of videos my channel was finding success with, and then creating more videos along those lines. And it kind of built on itself from there. So you know, the first year was only 300 subscribers, and then the next year was like 1,000, and then it was like 10,000, and then, you know, like the beauty with YouTube versus every other social media platform out there is they really reward creators. Like, they want you to create, and if you create a lot, they're going to thank you, and they are going to show you to more people. So it's unlike Facebook, where if you create more, they're like, hey, give me money, man.
You can only
you got to pay to play on the Facebook, you know. So
so when did you see? When did you saw a turning point with the how-to videos? What else did you discover with your YouTube creation journey?
I mean, with YouTube, for me, like, I'm a public book, and I'm pretty open. And I share pretty much anything everyone asks me. So I'm always answering comments to the best of my abilities, and responding to things, and getting engaged, and watching other people's YouTube channels, and commenting on their videos, and you know, and then sharing it on different communities as well. You know, so I brought people who weren't on YouTube to the YouTube channel, or took the conversation to different areas, and of course was active in these beard competitions and these beard clubs. And I mean, I lived what I was talking about. So I think what's really important is that authenticity. And I'd like to say that I'm pretty authentic. But I think that's really a core attribute to YouTube as well, is just being who you are.
Yeah. I mean, I noticed that right off the bat when I was reading your About page. Like, this guy is more open than way majority of the people out there. What's the most personal thing that you've shared with someone?
I mean, like, we're pretty public about our infertility troubles. Which I think is generally a very private affair. But for me, like, I needed to talk with other people to work through that and to overcome the challenges. And you know, I feel for anyone out there who's struggling with infertility right now. It was probably the darkest point of my life.
That's what I'm referring to with that was on your About page. I was like, holy crap, Eric, this is like personal. This is some deep stuff. What made you decide to share that?
Well, I mean, it was, so I don't know if I shared that on my About page, but I shared it on the Shark Tank page.
No, you definitely, maybe it was a Shark Tank page. It was one of the pages,
So the reason was, you know, one of the things we talked about on Shark Tank was our infertility struggles, and I wanted to kind of have our voice out there. If they included that in the conversation. So it was kind of in tune to that as well. And, you know, I've talked about it in my YouTube videos, I think, as well. And, you know, it's part of my life. And I think it's a way that I can help others out there who are struggling with it, because it is typically such a private thing that people don't even know where to go to get inspiration, to get help, and to find that community.
I mean, for people who didn't watch Shark Tank, who didn't read it, just if you could just talk a little bit about what happened and maybe some advice for people who may be struggling with that right now, because it is a really, really difficult subject.
Yeah, I mean, so in regards to Shark Tank?
No, I mean, what happened with the infertility?
Infertility, yeah. So my wife and I, obviously, we're infertile, and we had to go the science route, is the way I like to phrase it. So the old-fashioned way didn't work. I don't know what I was doing wrong. But, you know, for us, there's a lot of struggles with just the emotions and the fact that you want to have a family and you want to become a father and a mother, but that's outside your control. And, you know, for a lot of people, like, how they view themselves and how they plan having their lives involves being a parent and having children. And when that's outside your control, you know, there's things like adoption. And adoption, while, you know, it's easy for people to say, hey, why don't you just adopt a kid? You know, there's a lot of steps involved in the adoption process. And not only that, like, you're putting yourself out there for people to screen you and to say, like, hey, you're worthy to have a kid, or you're not worthy to have my kid, or, you know, whatever it is. And then the complexity of dealing with, you know, the adopted child's birth mother, and just, like, there's so many things that go on, and just, like, so many emotional aspects. You know, we went through IVF 3 times, and then on the 4th time, we finally had success. So, like, each one of those times, and even before, like, leading up to
IVF, a roller coaster.
Yeah. Like, you get your hopes up and you get your emotions up that, hey, because you're doing it because you think it's going to work.
Right.
And you hope that it's going to work and that things will come into fruition. And then when you get the bad news, it's just that roller coaster and the long car rides home of just remorse. And it's like a very close death in your family every single time you have a failed procedure.
Yeah. I appreciate you sharing that on your site. And it's just, you know, very powerful. So, talk about Shark Tank for a second. You know, what happened on Shark Tank that we didn't see? And then I want to just talk about the actual experience itself.
Yeah, so I mean, our total time in front of the sharks, or my total time in front of the sharks, was about 45 minutes. And they cut that down to about 5 minutes. And I signed a bunch of papers that say I can't really talk about stuff that's not public. So
gotcha.
I can kind of talk about, like, maybe my experiences of dealing with Shark Tank.
What were you thinking before you went out there?
So, I mean, we are super excited about being on the show and the opportunity of partnering up with sharks to be able to take our business to the next level. And for us, like, we are very excited about our business and what we've done to this point. I think, you know, what we've done isn't the norm for a business, and the success we've had isn't what happens with most businesses, and we're very fortunate for that, and we recognize that. But it's still been very challenging for us as well. And but looking through, like, all the other Shark Tank episodes, like, my thought is, like, you know, how are we going to deal with, like, 5 offers? Because what we've done is so incredible, and what we're building is so revolutionary. We're changing the way that men are grooming their faces, and we're creating a whole new industry. Like, we're creating the beard care market, which did not exist, you know, before our company started. So I was like, man, we're going to have to get on all these offers, and how am I going to, you know, put them down nicely and not feel like a kind of like a
jerk or something.
A jerk, or like a, you know. But we didn't get any offers, which really just, frankly, it kind of shocked me and surprised me. I wasn't I wasn't planning that at all. Like
Yeah.
I wasn't.
Did you have a strategy going in, like, I have in mind, I want this, I would like to ideally have this one if I didn't have anyone else?
Yeah,
Or
so we targeted Damon as kind of like our top shark.
Yeah.
We view Beardbrand as a brand, and kind of what he did with FUBU.
Yeah.
His ability to build a lifestyle brand with apparel was more in line with how we were building Beardbrand.
Yeah. Because he was the last
really,
one in at the end, so.
yeah, and we did our pitch. We called him out in our pitch, and he's the only guy with facial hair, even though it's like a small goatee. At least he does rock a little bit. And I thought, like, for a moment there that he was going to come in with an offer, but I think, they kind of, like, the sharks kind of feed off of themselves as well. Like, they see everyone else getting in there, they also want to get in there. And then I think they see no one else jumping on board, and they kind of get cold feet as well. So I think maybe if I caught Damon on a different day, we may have been telling a different story. But
was there, and maybe you can't talk about this, but it sounded like at the end he almost wanted to invest. And they may have cut this out, but it almost like, I felt like, and maybe you couldn't have done that, did you think about going with a counteroffer back to him, or was that cut out?
No, I didn't do any kind of counteroffer. And the other thing is, we're really confident with our business, our ability to grow our business, and we found a lot of success up to this point. So we're not a desperate company, and we're not going to give up the world. The sharks bring a lot of value, but there is a tangible amount of the value, and we weren't going to undersell.
That was your valuation. You were sticking to it.
Yeah. I mean, we left a little bit of room in there to negotiate. I think, what did we offer, like 15%?
15% for 400,000.
Okay, so I think we were willing to go up to like 20% equity for the same amount. So we would have gone down to a $2 million valuation at the time. So I think, we did leave some room in there, but we did our due diligence as well on what the market rate for a company of our size would be, and our IP portfolio and our volume and stuff like that. So I felt very, very confident with our valuation.
I was surprised you didn't get an offer as well. What was the after effects like?
It was good. I mean, like the day of, like, I had Google Analytics open, and I think there's like 7,000 simultaneous users, and it was just like this giant spike. And I was watching a map of like all the cities, like where the cities were loading, of people watching it, and you could just kind of see it flow from East Coast to West Coast as it got aired in the different time zones.
Yeah.
And then there's that weekend sales was it was a really good month, and then it was perfect timing too, because it just kind of led up to the holiday season when I think people threw it in for stocking stuffers. And
so what were sales like?
I mean, our product's a great product. It sells itself.
Yeah.
So.
What were sales like that month of Shark Tank?
Well, we aired on the 31st, so technically it was the last day of the month. But we don't disclose our numbers anymore. But it was like that November was like 2 or 3x, what the previous month was. But for everyone out there who wants to be on Shark Tank, let me also like taper your expectations. It's not this golden ticket where you're on the show and then all of a sudden you go from like 1 million in sales to 100 million in sales.
Right.
Like, there's still a lot of hard work, and there's a lot of companies that they don't talk about anymore who, have either gone out of business or, they're kind of petering along. So it's not this automatic thing. The success stories are almost like the rare ones within.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, but it is helpful. It's definitely that publicity is very helpful.
It's huge. Yeah. So let's go back to YouTube for a second, and then, because YouTube you've grown, and then Tumblr is big for you too. So talk about the Tumblr growth and what you do on Tumblr.
I love Tumblr. I mean, Tumblr is like a really easy way to curate a certain lifestyle that you're going for, and they make blogging super easy, and you're able to just like convey who you are by curating these photography. So Tumblr was probably one of our first platforms, and we're able to produce so much content on there. We do something like 10 or 15 posts a day.
Seriously? Wow.
Yeah. But
That's
I mean,
amazing.
it's just the platform allows you to do it. Like, that takes maybe 15 minutes of work to do that much content. So it's really a great way to be active in front of your audience and get people to come back. And I mean, it doesn't really drive a lot of traffic to our website, and I don't think it drives like a lot of conversions, but it's just more about building that brand and telling our story. That it's a real useful tool for that.
Mm-hmm. And then I know you have a lot of cool pics and Instagram. You have a huge following on Instagram too.
Yeah, Instagram. We got lucky and had a nice post on BuzzFeed, and that took us from like overnight from like 15,000 to 50,000 followers, and we've always had like a very purposeful type of a branding image of what we wanted our audience to think of when they think of Beardbrand, and it is that man who wears a beard, who's stylish and who cares about his image and cares about who he is. So it's always been purposeful on how we curate that.
And Eric, so I want to talk about the product journey a little bit. What are some of the best sellers that you have?
Well, beard oil is really our bread and butter. I mean, beard oil it's like, for me, it's like my caffeine, my daily caffeine. I gotta have it.
So what do you use personally on a daily basis? Which beard oil?
Well,
you have a large selection here.
Yeah, we've got 9 different fragrances right now, and that's among 4 different lines.
There's like Lumberyard beard oil, Temple Smoke, 4 Vices, Tree Ranger, Spice Citrus. So what do you like? What are your favorites?
I'm biased to a few of them, but Temple Smoke right now is, for me, is just it's awesome. Like, I love it's oud. I don't know if you know that fragrance, but oud is like just this really deep, mythical, smoky, mellow kind of aroma, and I mean, I just love those kind of deep, dark notes. And for me, it's just awesome. And like 4 Vices is kind of the same way, but 4 Vices is different because it's just kind of like gritty and dirty, and like it's not like something that you would imagine a fragrance to be. It's very subtle. Like, it's not going to blow you out of the water. So,
what's the most popular one for others?
The most popular one of our white line is our Lumberyard, and then of our silver line is Tree Ranger.
Okay.
So, if you're going to go with any of those, you really can't go wrong with those. But we do have such a wide variety, and scent is so personal. It kind of depends on what you like.
What did you start with? What were the first couple?
Our silver line, we launched a silver line all together. And
so you have a white, a silver, and a gold, right?
Yep. And then we've got the limited edition black line.
I have a question about that one.
I don't want to get ahead. But so we started with this silver line, and that's really our flagship line. And that's where, if we ever have a new product, we start with our silver line and kind of go out from there.
How did you know what to start with? I mean, you can go in any direction there's so many fragrances out there. And
yeah, I mean, there's really like an infinite amount. For me, it was, I got inspired by the name Tree Ranger. Which was, I'm a little bit dyslexic, and I was trying to remember what my friend did for a living. He's a forester in Washington, and I'm like, what are you, some kind of, I'm like stumbling over my words. I'm like, Tree Ranger. And then like, I'm like, oh man, that's such like a cool term, Tree Ranger. And, of course, that's another term that, I don't think anyone's ever used before, and bought the domain treeranger.com. And so we use that as inspiration, and then so that was my baby, and then my co-founders each kind of developed a fragrance that they thought they were going to love. So Jeremy came up with tea tree. He's a big fan of tea tree stuff, and then Lindsay came up with spice citrus. So it was more of like 3 different people, 3 different types of.
I got it. 3 personalities, 3 opinions on that.
And we wanted something like that was kind of different and broad, so that it wasn't like all the same. So we try to have like the citrus one and the minty one, and then the woodsy one.
At what point in the journey, Eric, do you decide to introduce product? Because I know for a long time you're just producing content for people in this urban beard lifestyle.
Yeah. We so it was probably about 12 months that we produced content, and it was really like kind of seizing opportunities. I got contacted by a reporter for the New York Times who was going to do an article on beard care and just reach out to me as an expert in the field. And so I knew that there was going to be an article. And with Jeremy and Lindsay, my at the time, I said, hey, do you want turn this content website into like a real business and sell some products. And that was really what sparked the product line business of Beardbrand. And we actually started reselling someone else's products off the gate to get started. And just threw it up like literally one day before the New York Times article posted live. And then from there, just that's what business is about, seizing opportunities as they come and then working your ass off to create opportunities.
What was that first product called that you got?
It was a beard oil as well, just from the competitor.
Oh, so it wasn't private labeled, it was just their...
Yeah, we were just acting as a retailer.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay.
We didn't have our own line of products out there.
So what made you reach out to Jeremy and the other co-founder?
We had known each other in the business community in Spokane, and we had worked together. We were kind of like business friends. We had worked together on a startup weekend team, and I don't know if you've ever done a startup weekend, but I've really found a lot of value in it. And it was there that we're like, hey, we work well together. Like, let's get into business. And we tried doing this other business. And we weren't able to get that up and running. There's too many roadblocks, and it was like that New York Times where I'm like, hey, I've got this opportunity.
Yeah.
Other things not taking off. Why don't we just come on board and do this and make it work and build?
Yeah, I love that. You're like, okay, this big article is coming out. We better have something to sell these people. So after that, you're selling someone else's product. I like this kind of the evolution. When did you first say, okay, we need our own product? How long after?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was really early in the phase that we had the vision of having our own line of products. So for us, it was more of just being able to execute super fast. We needed to work with another company. But we launched that website really in February. It was January 28th, but in February of 2013.
Yeah, you guys are good with naming. Beardbrand, like some of the names on there are very clever, very catchy. The Urban Beardsman, Beardbrand. I love it. What do you have a method for coming up with these names?
I guess it's just one of my skills. I don't know. Like some of them are definitely more challenging than others. My favorite is probably Four Vices. Like that was one of those that I got the name and the concept for the product before we even developed the product. So it's usually we kind of have this vision for the product before we actually create it. And Four Vices, I'm like the beardsman's favorite vices. Like, what does he love? And it's cannabis, tobacco, coffee, and hops. And then we brought those.
Oh, really? That's fine.
So,
I love that.
Yeah.
I knew your story, Eric, before you were on Shark Tank. And so I had a hypothesis. I had a theory. I thought actually Lori was going to invest and start to turn some products into male fragrances. That's what I was predicting, like internally in my mind when I saw the commercials that you were coming on. That's what I thought was going to happen because I knew that you had different, fragrances with the beard oil.
And she asked me actually about if I was going to come out with more product lines and the vision is yes, but we're really focused on our core right now, and that's kind of what I told her. And I don't think they were ready for like a long-term investment, but maybe if I told her.
So with the products, I think a challenge with a lot of e-commerce founders is they want to, what do they do next, and how many, like what the rate of product development is. What is your strategy on those two things?
Well, the entrepreneur in me wants like a new product every single day to be launched. But that's not quite realistic with all the things that need to go into production. But when you have new products, it makes it easy to talk with your customers and tell them, what's going on. So ideally, our goal is to have one new product release a month. And sometimes it's as simple as like new packaging, like a smaller bottle or a bigger bottle. And then sometimes it's like an evolution of like a new type of comb, but it's still a comb. And then other times it's like a completely new product, like a beard softener, which no one's ever created before. So, like they all have kind of like varying time levels to get into. And but as an entrepreneur, that's part of the challenge is like staying that focus of like, what are you at your core? And how do you stay within your core and not get distracted? And then how do you continue to invest in your business and grow your business as well?
Yeah. So what goes into the product? How do you create the product?
So we'll get like an idea for a concept and how we want it to perform and how we want it to act and who we want it to serve. Generally, we're really in tune with our audience and our customers because we are on social media. We engage with our audience.
Right.
And so we get feedback all the time for what they're looking for and what they need. And we take all that input and then we formulate a product based on those needs and just do a lot of development and testing and working out all the kinks. And
what does that look like, the development and testing? Do you like work with a scientist? I mean, is like a formulator involved? How does that work?
Yeah, I mean, there's so we work with a chemist definitely for like a lot of the water-based products where shelf stability is paramount concern and formulating everything outside of our skill set. But there are some products like the oil-based products, the natural products that we can formulate in-house, and then work with our production team to do all the testing and then work with the lab to be able to test the stability of it and the expected shelf life and all that stuff that goes involved with.
How do you decide where to source it? Because I know you could source it probably from, some people source stuff from China or US. What was your thought process on sourcing?
Yeah, so for any of our grooming products, anything that's like going on your skin, that's going to be made in America. Not a lot of the raw ingredients, you can't have everything made in America because like
doesn't grow there.
Boba plants even like grow in America? Right. I don't even, right? So there's like some
ingredients,
of right. Some of those base ingredients, and we're a global company too. Like we're not, we go wherever the quality is, and America's got some awesome quality, so it makes it great to have a lot of, especially in the grooming and cosmetic space. America's probably the best place to have that produced. But so we look for wherever that best source is.
Right. So was it hard to find? Like,
yeah, dude, man, let me tell you, that's a very challenging part of the business is finding sources for things and finding vendors who can not only serve you where you're at today, but also either grow with you or like either you outgrow them or you're not at their stage. Like every company is like serving a different size company. Right. And then if you're growing rapidly, that can all change within 5 months or 6 months. And you have to completely find different sources and, someone who can keep up with you, and it's definitely a giant challenge.
Yeah, I could see early on initially it's the questions that you ask to find the right sourcer would be difficult if you've never done it. What kind of questions were you asking people to go down that pigeonhole to find this is our perfect manufacturer and sourcer?
Well, I mean, the beauty when we started, we bootstrapped and we started by like just selling one item. So it's like, we were making stuff out of the kitchen ourselves and
really
putting it together. Yeah. So we were really like bootstrapping.
Wow, that's serious. Yeah.
Yeah. And, and then it's like a really good story I have is with our box maker. Yeah. Right. So I had this, we had this idea for like the ultimate bearded kit. Like the shaving guys had all the fun. They had these beautiful, black walnut razors, like double-edged razors, and they're like $300 kits with their shaving bowls and all that crap. And I'm like, where's all the premium nice stuff for the guys with a beard? So we wanted to make like the ultimate beard grooming kit. Right. And so like we just tried to find like a box maker, and you can find like at the time we were only selling like one or two of them, so we'd order like 20 boxes, right. Which a guy with a garage in his backyard can make, and then those things just like boom, they were like gone in no time. Our customers just loved them, and so like we tried to find someone who could make in that like maybe like 20 to 100 units at a time, and like there's absolutely no one out there on the face of the planet. So it was like the guy who could make 20 of them, and then the guy who makes like minimum 500,
Yeah.
And it's like, that was like a struggle. And for us, we took a huge risk and we like ordered like 500 of
Right.
them.
Because it's a lot of capital for a growing
Oh
business.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, that's tons of capital, but it's also like our highest price point unit, and it
Right.
moves a lot of products for us. It like sells everything in there. So it was really important for us to have, but it was just that huge risk of finding that vendor, and that vendor's like, sorry, man, I can't do it. I can't do units less than 500, and um, so that was a huge challenge for us
Yeah.
to be able to find that vendor who could produce high quality, stuff.
Right. And Eric, talk about, you're very customer centric. You're always listening to customers. You're very active on social media. What's some of the common things customers were saying, and because they were saying it, you created a product to fit that?
I mean, I think it's, on YouTube, they almost ask like, hey, do a video on this, or hey, do a video on that. And then, they're really hounding me right now for a beard balm. We've been
What is it?
working. It's a beard balm.
Okay,
So
what is that?
it's similar to a beard oil, but it's a solid base.
Oh, Balm. Okay.
Yeah, balm. So it's a little bit heavier. It'll give a little bit more control. But we want to develop it to where it really stands out in the marketplace. So we're really fine tuning it and making it, leaps and bounds above everything else.
Yeah.
So, it happens every day, and it happens. We get emails, with people just saying, hey, when are you going to come out with this, or what are you going to do that, or,
So besides beard balm, what else do people want?
it'll be anything from like brushes to, like a higher hold mustache wax, or, there'll be like crazy items that I don't even know if we could formulate, like something to waterproof their beard. Like, I don't even know. Like put some Teflon on people's beards. I don't know. Maybe.
I love your explanation of the education of the other beard oils. You're like, a lot of them have silicone in it, and it coats it, and the way you explain it is very, educational. And then when you wash it out, it dries out. So I could see why you're getting this feedback from people. But as a business owner, it's got to be hard to what do you attack first? These are customers who want you to create something so they can buy it.
Yeah.
So what's next in the pipeline, if you can share, or whatever you can share based off of that customer feedback?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of keep it under wraps with what's coming out. So you just gotta go to the website every single day, see what comes out. But
So talk about the black label, the black marble.
dude, that stuff's gnarly.
You see, $25, and then black marble is $80. So I'm like, what's in this black marble?
Yeah, well, it was a special project with Tobias Schneider, who was with Spotify as the lead graphic designer, and he's just like, we've done a profile on him in the past, and he's just like this incredible person. Like, you should interview him to talk about someone who's an awesome person.
What's his name?
Tobias Van Schneider.
All right.
And
not too many of those, I'm sure, if I search on Google.
Yeah, exactly. And he's got a killer beard as well. So I reached out to him, and I don't know how the conversation came up, but we talked about doing a collaboration. And he had, like, really this was a collaboration between us and him. And we wanted to create, like, the most sophisticated, the most luxurious, high-end product on the market.
Yeah.
We didn't want to spare any expense. We didn't want to limit ourselves with any ingredients. If we thought it was going to be the best, if we thought it was going to be the most luxurious, then we were going to do it.
I love it.
So he designed. He flew into Austin, and we formulated the ingredients together, and we came up with the fragrance together. And he designed the packaging as well, and it comes. We don't show this off. It's almost like a little surprise for our customers, but it comes in this beautiful little box. It's 2 box.
Design is key, right?
Yeah. So I mean, for us, it was almost like just have this beautiful bottle that could just sit on a shelf by itself, where people just want to display. Like, that was the vision and the goal that we wanted to have with the product. And the way we look at it too is like, the stuff we produce is like super high end, and I know, like, there's always going to be someone producing something cheaper out there.
Right.
But we wanted to like go the Bentley route or like the Rolls-Royce route and really produce something that no one's done before. And I think we definitely did it. And like black marble is a really badass.
So what's in black marble?
Well, it's our base oil. Really, kind of what's special about it is we're using tamanu oil, which is this phenomenal oil to help not only like condition your beard, but it has the ability to help with this. It's called like scarification, the ability for your skin to literally heal. So it's
interesting.
It's a beard oil, but it's also a skincare to help.
That's really cool. Yeah.
Keep your skin looking the best, and so we kind of market it as not only a beard oil, but it's also beard oil and skincare. And we've got a higher percentage of fragrance in there, like natural essential oils that is almost in lines with like a cologne or a perfume. So it's just a really premium product.
Did you know about that particular oil before you started this formulation?
Yeah,
or is it through the research that you're like, oh, this is the most premium thing we could put in this bottle?
I mean, tamanu oil, I was reading up. I mean, I'm immersed in our products as well, and just the ingredients out there. And, I don't know how I ran across it, but I ran across it, and I'm like, man, I've got to produce something with this in here, because it's got like some incredible attributes. Yeah. So it's definitely like a wonderful oil for your skin, and that's like the people who are going to invest in that type of product for themselves. It's more than just their beard. It's like taking care of themselves and their whole body.
Yeah, Eric. So two things I want to talk about is what's a must. For e-commerce sellers listening to this, what's a must that works the best for you to boost sales, or some of the strategies that work best, and then some mistakes to avoid in the e-commerce journey. So start with what's worked best for increasing sales outside of Shark Tank that's more replicatable.
Yeah, I mean, the best thing is you've got to do two things.
Yeah.
You got to do a ton of things, right? There's a million things you got to do, but
just two things, guys. For everyone out there, you just do these two things, and that's it.
Two things, if it's done, you'll be making millions of dollars. Like you've got to build trust, right? You've got to help people understand that the people you're working with, you're going to deliver on what you promise, and you build trust a lot of different ways. That's through a well-designed website. It's through beautiful photography. It's through reviews on your website where they can read what other people are saying, and it's like interacting with your customers and talking with them and chatting with them. So building trust is important, and then it's that authenticity and doing something that you're passionate about. It's not like companies that just try to get rich and make a bunch of money. While there's plenty of companies that do that and are successful, if you're a small guy, it's really hard to compete with those. So we like to sell on that bond that we have with our customers, and like building or really, like, I've got a poster, you watch my videos, change the way society views beardsmen. Like, that's what we're trying to do at Beardbrand, and being able to unite our audience and our customers along that cause, and having our products be able to sell or fund that process is really what moves us. So being more than just a company that's selling products. So like those
it's a long-term view. Yeah, it's a long-term view to build the brand, and that's kind of what it seems that you've always been about.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's what I have skills doing too. Like, I don't have skills on, arbitrage and beating someone in price by a penny to, go after that dude who wants the cheapest stuff out there. Like, I don't live that life. I don't buy that way. I'm not trying to find the cheapest stuff out there. I value my time and my convenience more than a couple of dollars.
So build trust. What's the second thing?
Build trust and be authentic. And I guess they kind of go hand in hand. And then it's just hustle. It's just hustle. Tell everyone, get everything out there, be passionate. If you're doing something you love, it's easy to hustle, because you're passionate about it. You can talk about it for days and months, years. But if you're trying to sell something you don't really care about, you're going to burn out. Like, you can't do it.
Yeah. Has anything worked in particular with paid advertising that moves the needle?
We buy ads. We do organic. We do it all, so we don't limit. But we do AdWords. We do a little bit of Facebook. Facebook doesn't work too well for us. And then we do retargeting as well. And then we buy ads on a couple of websites that we support, like Reddit, the Society for the Bearded Gents, Accidental Bear. Like these are kind of beard-related websites that we support as well.
Mm-hmm. So any celebrity sponsors yet?
Yeah, well, we're building our influencer network, which is really cool, and we do Urban Beardsman profiles. So we've had a few people. We've had Mike Napoli buy some stuff from us, who's with the Red Sox during their World Series run. He bought some stuff from us, and
that's awesome.
We've got. I don't know if I can be public with this or not. But
well, don't say it if you can't.
So we're interviewing Ryan Hurst, who was Opie in Sons of Anarchy.
Okay.
And then if you watch Game of Thrones, Hodor, he's one of our users. So we got a few. I mean, there's a lot more I could probably.
Do you find it to be a close-knit community as you get entrenched in it, or not yet?
Yeah. I mean, like specifically in like the beard, competitive bearding world, like that's very close. Like everyone knows everyone. But the broader bearded lifestyle, I think it's a really big community, and a lot of variety out there as well. Like a lot of these guys are really different and really unique, and really have some like awesome stories. Like our Urban Beardsman profiles, we've got some guys like Patchy Tamer. He's one of our profiles. He stripped naked at a TED Talk talking about like homelessness and like using his stripping down was like kind of like taking off his baggage that homeless people have, and then he put on like fresh clothes that like represented his education and his loving parents and stuff like that. It's a real interesting talk. So like there's just tons of guys out there like that who wear beards, and it's just awesome to be able to tell their stories.
Yeah. So what else has worked well on the journey to selling Beardbrand? Yeah,
I mean it's social media has been great for us.
Yeah.
Because, we can really like tell that's because it's hard to really be like to really tell like the Urban Beardsman lifestyle, and you can't do all that when someone's visiting the website on average for a minute and a half, right? You know, so the website's about. But with YouTube, you've got every single video, you've got that ability to print in, and now that I've got that poster in there as well, and in my videos, I'm excited that people are going to know about what we're trying to do. And
what's been the most popular YouTube video that you put out?
It's actually a hair growing video, how to grow your hair out.
My wife would love that one. Wait, tell me about this one.
Yeah, it's just like tips for growing your hair out. No. So I've, as you can tell, I've grown my hair out, and I was just telling guys. So it's not even related to beards, and I'm not even selling anything. But
we need a regrow hair. That would be like.
Yeah.
For the bald Urban Beardsman. What?
Well, I've got like 2 or 3 balding videos as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm thinning a little bit on the crown. So give it a little bit.
So what do you recommend for balding people? My wife will love this. This will be her all-time favorite interview if you tell her how. No.
Well, the beauty with balding is the genes that cause you to bald are also the genes that cause you to grow a beard. So when it goes down here, you just kind of migrate it and grow the beard out. So my recommendation is start growing that beard out, and that's where you're going to be able to like style. Like women don't have that ability. Like men are like totally lucky that we got 2 options. Like if women go thin up here, they're pretty much tan, but we get to grow our beards out.
Right, exactly. What about mistakes to avoid?
I mean, like in growing a business, like you're going to be making mistakes, and the biggest thing is that you learn from them. And for us, like, we as entrepreneurs, we want to try everything, which is good and bad. It's good because you get to make sure what you're doing is right, but it's bad because it can really distract you from getting away from your core. So we've sold a lot of products in the past that we no longer sell, because our customers really didn't want to buy it.
Yeah.
And,
what were a few that you realized?
Well, I can show you. Like they're really cool.
You're like, I have them all here because no one bought them. What is that?
It's like a Beardbrand wallet.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's made out of like full grain, natural natural leather and this awesome wallet. And then we have like these, well, I think we still sell our cuffs, or we may not, but just like leather products, keychains, stuff like that in general. And then we sold some shirts that didn't do really well. We've never been able to sell apparel very well. So it's, that kind of stuff, like I got to stay away from, even though I love it and I think they're super cool. Like my customers, it's not going to put food on my table, and it's not going to help us with our mission. To change the way society views beardsmen. Yeah,
no, I love that because now it's a little bit easier in the sense of you get feedback from customers and they're telling you what they want. So you just
and they tell us with action. Everyone would be like, "Oh, that's cool. I have Beardbrand wallets," and they're like, "All right, we got it." No, I don't really want to buy it.
So what else did you learn so far that other people should think about before dipping their toe in?
It's business is tough, right? And you've got to surround yourself with people who can move you forward, who can get you through those tough times. I'm very fortunate that my business partners and I are philosophically aligned. So we're able to focus on building Beardbrand rather than squabbling over things that some other companies deal with their business team. So me and Jeremy and Lindsay and I, we're all on the same page and we're all working to the same goal, which is super important if you have business partners. And for me as well, I've had a wake of failed businesses where I didn't even have business partners, right? So for me, having business partners is key. But I understand that's also another can of worms. That could be a whole nother podcast.
Right. Yeah. So what's an example of one of the failed businesses and what you learned from it?
Well, I had a vinyl wall graphic business selling little trees and birds and stuff you'd stick on the wall, and it was an e-commerce business as well. And
oh, cool!
I built everything.
I have this is from Wall Monkeys, and it's it's like a wall decal. Yeah.
So I sold 2 of them, and then the company I got afraid and I got scared, and I didn't commit to buying ads. I didn't commit to selling it and getting out there, and that's all I did. Is I just sold 2.
What were you afraid of at the time?
Failure, which is ironic because you're going to fail if you don't do it. But
so it almost scared you when you started getting sales?
No, I mean it just scared me to really double down and commit into the business, and go all in. Up to that point, everything I had done had been kind of my own time, just hacking it together.
Service based, website
right,
or
I've got
graphic.
the skills to build the website, so I built the website. I designed all the decals. I had the social media. I did all the logo. All that I did in house. And I mean, maybe I bought $100 worth of material for the decals.
Right.
But beyond that, I didn't.
Yeah.
I wasn't willing to invest into ads, and I wasn't willing to invest into really the time it takes to sell and build that company.
Right. No, Eric, I appreciate you sharing that because everyone in the back of their mind has that self-doubt or some kind of doubt. So how did you get over that fear then?
Well, I mean, with that one I failed, and and I continued to fail until I brought on business partners. And having a good business team, when you're going through that emotional roller coaster where you're down here, hopefully they're going to be up here, and they can kind of bring you up, and kind of vice versa, where you can level each other out and you can help stay track on your goals and your vision and power through everything. So that team is for me is super crucial.
Yeah. So Eric, what kind of software do you use to run the business?
Use tons of software. I mean, we've got Shopify, of course, is our e-commerce platform, which I would highly recommend. Stitch Labs we use for inventory management. We're on ShipStation, Shipping Easy. For our shipping software, we use Google Apps. Internally, we use Slack. For our chat, we use
fulfillment. What do you use? How do you fulfill?
Yeah, we work with a fulfillment firm out of Washington's Pacific Northwest Print and Fulfillment. It's a company we use. They're great people.
Any particular things that you recommend for people creating high quality videos?
Yeah, I mean, the best is just to do it and to do it regularly. But in terms of like products, just start with your iPhone, start with your camera, and
Yeah,
then
start simple.
yeah, and then you like don't build too many barriers to get going. And then as you get into it, and there's tons of YouTube videos to help you on how to do it, and I watch those. So I use an Olympus OMD EM1 camera is what I use, and then a 25 millimeter fixed lens, and then I've got a audio as well is very important. So I've got like a boom mic or a shotgun mic that I use.
Yeah. What websites, Eric, do you sell on? Like Amazon, your obviously you use Shopify. What websites do you put the products on?
We sell on beardbrand.com and beardbrand.co.uk, and then everything else we work with retailers. So we have wholesalers around the world.
Oh, nice.
Some of those sellers are online retailers, but we personally don't sell on Amazon or eBay or any other Etsy. We everything's on Beardbrand.
So do you let those people sell on any site or?
We have one retailer who we allow to sell on Amazon.
Yeah.
But
I'm curious. What's the strategy? Why that?
Amazon is what I found is really for those analytical people who is all about the numbers and optimization, and we're not those type of people. We're about the branding, and you can't do branding on Amazon really like we want to do it. Yeah. So it's just not our cup of tea. And we would have our manufacturing business, we'd have our retail business, we'd have our wholesale business, and if we sold on Amazon, we would have our Amazon business, and then we'd have our content business, and that's just really like getting your brain to spread out. So you've got to really pick and choose what you're good at, and don't let the other things be a distraction.
Yeah. So what was the decision? Tell me about the wholesaling part of things.
Yeah, that's Lindsay. She's my co-founder who manages that. She's a fantastic sales person, and she's got those skills and ability to build the relationships. And we've got a lot of customers who just come to us out of the blue who want to carry our products. So
yeah, that's awesome.
We want to take care of them.
So what about competition? You were saying earlier there's competitors sprouting up, and I noticed on one of your videos you hold up and it's like, this isn't ours. This smells like Pine Sol. How do you deal with knockoffs?
Yeah, I mean the thing is we try to just make it so difficult to duplicate us.
Yeah.
That no one can do that. So I think what we try to do is have a really nice website, have that really good content, have everything just be super polished where they know that this is Beardbrand, this is premium. Yeah. And then we try to be everywhere. We try to have our products in Nordstrom and have our products in like men's specialty boutiques everywhere, where it's just very hard for someone else to do.
Yeah, for sure. Eric, I really appreciate your time. This has been fantastic. Let's just tell people where they can find out more. Where should they check you out online? I know you mentioned a few sites. Mention them again, and then just leave us with one last lesson.
Cool. Yeah. So if you Google my name, Eric Bandholz, I'm the only Eric Bandholz out there, so it'll be me. But Twitter is awesome if you want to get a hold of me. And then Beardbrand is our website, and Urban Beardsman is our content website that we're really proud of those. And then you can find all of our social media platforms. Yeah,
I highly suggest you check out his videos, and also just the design and branding the logo is awesome. I love that logo. So just the very simple but elegant branding and design, check it out. So what's one last lesson? Where should people start thinking about with their e-commerce journey?
I mean, for someone who's just starting, it's just do it, man. Like, perfection doesn't happen. You don't launch with perfection. So progress and constant improvement is always better. Tesla wasn't invented as the first automobile, right? So you start somewhere and then you gradually improve, and don't let perfection hang you up. So just get out there and do it.
Eric, thank you so much. Everyone check out beardbrand.com. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Dude, the joy is all mine. Thanks so much, Jeremy.
Thank you.
Good.